Be wary of people who love self-pity. In this video, I'm bringing to your attention how damaging trying to heal someone, trying to relate to someone, and connect with someone who is unhappy can be for you. Trying to connect with people who are constantly being pessimistic about their lives, constantly being negative, never have anything good to say about their own lives. It may not feel like it's being projected onto you, but one thing that I know is hurt people hurt people. And just because you may not be their target, you will be in the way. And most likely you will get hit by a stray bullet if that person is just constantly unhappy. One thing that we can be real good at is trauma bonding, okay? Relating to people with things that hurt us, things that brought us trauma or damaged us, right? We love to talk about ourselves. We love to talk about what hurt us. And if we meet someone that has experienced, close to the same thing, we just bond with them because we have so much in common, right? But one thing we have to acknowledge is, are we actually growing from those circumstances? And have we learned our lesson? Are we solution-based or are we sitting in pity? Are we not taking accountability for our actions? Are we sitting around pointing the finger and blaming every single person around us but ourselves? Now, I do believe that we can be victims. That's not something that doesn't happen. Like, we can be a victim of something when we're not aware of the outcome from a certain action, right? Like getting ourselves in a toxic relationship. Like, we didn't know that just because we're giving someone love and attention that we couldn't heal them. Like, that's something that you really have to live through to learn. But once you actually learn something and you've made it out, it's like now you can actually look back and analyze the situation better and be able to critique your own decisions and your own actions. Right? That's what comes with maturing, is taking accountability for our actions, learning our lessons, and not sitting around blaming the world for what happened to us and why we're in the predicament that we're in. And it's like, okay, when are we going to grow? When are we going to start being more solution-based and start seeing hard times as a lesson so that we know how to move in the future? Right? Now, when we are trauma bonding with people, right, we have to be able to differentiate the level of maturity and self-awareness that we have versus the person that we're talking to. Now, let's just say, for example, you are someone that has learned from your past. You take accountability for why your last relationship went sour or your last friendship went sour or whatever, right? You don't just blame everything else around you, because if you continue to blame things around you, how can you be a better person? How can you be a better you if everything that happens to you is never your fault or you never have any type of involvement, right? So you're talking to someone who constantly plays victim. You're talking to someone who never takes accountability, never thinks that they could have done anything better, always feels victimized, and loves to soak in self-pity. They're pessimistic, they're negative, and it just seems like having a conversation with them will never end in a solution. Like it'll literally be just a venting session. There's no conclusion. There's no solution. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just negative, right? Whether you know it or not, or expect it or not, these people can project this negativity onto you. Now, you may not be their target, but you will be in the way of a stray bullet. Because hurt people hurt people. They don't want to, but because they're not healed, they may go around projecting their fears and their trauma onto other people, accumulating more and more and more victims on their path. Because they aren't able to see the lesson, they aren't able to look within themselves, humble themselves, and improve themselves, they'll keep on perpetuating the same scenarios over and over, but with different people. So yes, you may have gone through the same negative situation that someone else has, but you made it out mentally. And they're still locked in that victimized state of mind. All right. So one light example of how hurt people can hurt people. Number one is in a relationship. That's like the most common one. No one actually plans on getting in a relationship to hurt their partner or to disappoint them, start to argue with them, and, just bump heads. But sometimes when we have traumas, things that trigger us, and we never learned how to identify our triggers, to be able to control our emotions and be able to communicate effectively, then we'll keep on experiencing those same situations, because it's not what happens to us, right? It's how we respond. The way we respond to a situation can change the entire situation as a whole. But when we're not healed, that's when we have karmic lessons repeat itself over and over and over, right? So relationships are the most common way unhappy people will project their negativity and their trauma onto other people. Unknowingly, right? They do it subconsciously. But it's being done because they haven't healed themselves. They haven't taken accountability for things in situations that they got themselves into, and they haven't corrected their own mistakes. They're constantly living in victimhood and pointing the finger and blaming other people for their mistakes and their shortcomings, right? Now, a little story time. I've experienced being an innocent bystander and being in the way of someone's violent emotions, right? Now, I didn't judge her because I've been in that place before, but I also knew to stay far away from her, right? So basically, I was friends with this girl and we were close. We weren't the closest, but we were close. And we talked often, we always supported each other online, and it was just like a peaceful, like a balanced friendship. That's what it felt like. Now, I don't know what was going on in her life, but one day she was online, and in her story, she was saying how she doesn't have any real friends and all these girls are fake. And everyone that tries to get close to her are energy vampires and try to use her, and they're roaches and blah, 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 right? So I'm like, I watch it and I'm like, wow, that's a very harsh general statement. I don't know what she's going through, but I'm sure she knows that people that have done nothing to her are going to see this. So when I saw that, I know that it didn't have anything to do with me, right? It wasn't personal. So I'm not going to sit here and try to, make it seem like I was attacked, right? But the fact that she was able to and had the audacity to go on a public platform where people that love her are, people who are friends with her are, people who support her are, right? Can see her saying, I don't have friends. Everyone that tries to get close to me are energy vampires and blah, blah, blah. It kind of made me feel like, well, who am I? Who am I? Now, I understand the feeling of being mad at one or two people, or even more, being mad at someone and then feeling like a victim and feeling like the world is against you. I totally get that. I felt that before. I've thought, do I even have real friends? I would kind of feel like my back was up against the wall and like the world was against me. But I never went online and said, I don't have any friends. Everyone is fake. Everyone is this and everyone is that. Because I knew that people who actually cared about me would see it. I knew that people that actually had my best interest at heart would see it. I knew that people that were actually my friends would see it. And I would be capping, right? I would be straight lying if I went online and said that. And if that's how I really felt, then clearly we're not real friends at all. And that's not on them. That's on me. So I had to be careful about things I said online. Even though I was feeling that way doesn't mean that it had to be said. So the fact that someone that I thought was a friend of mine, you know what I'm saying, will go online and project that level of negativity, knowing that I would come across it, it basically told me that she did not consider me a friend. It basically told me that we are not as close as I thought we were. Now, once again, did I judge her? No, I didn't. Because I understand that she may just be mad at one person, but I'm not your emotional punching bag, sweetie. I'm not your emotional punching bag. I'm not going to be your friend, be supportive, of you, and all of a sudden be discarded by you whenever you feel like it. I'm no one's dummy. I'm no one's doll. I cannot be discarded whenever you're feeling some type of way. We're either friends or we're not. And yes, I have a certain level of compassion and empathy for her till this day. But do I trust her? And am I going to be around her? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to save me the trouble. Right? Now, another situation, another short story is someone that I was friends with again, right? She was cool. We were cool. Now, one thing that I noticed about this friend is she was just like the personality type that I talked about in the beginning of the video. She was just constantly negative, speaking negativity over her life, never actually like being proud of herself or like she didn't have confidence, right? She had like a low self-esteem. Now she's a beautiful girl, like gorgeous girl, banging body. She's talented, but she just indulged in self-pity, right? Just because someone is beautiful does not mean they're confident. And just because someone has every single reason to have a high self-esteem, right? You would never think that they would hate on another woman because they're beautiful themselves does not mean that they don't hold a spirit of envy and jealousy in them. So back to the story. Me and this girl was cool, but yeah, she was a little bit or a lot of bit pessimistic, but I never viewed her to be like a hater or, envious. But I also don't really know her to be like totally like supportive either. Right. But because she never crossed me, I never viewed her as a negative person. Right. But she did indulge in self-pity, but I just thought she was going through her process. Maybe she's just working on her self-esteem. Like, and I understand what it's like to have a low self-esteem. So I wanted to show compassion for that side of her. Right. But once again, hurt people hurt people. One day I was on her page. This is on social media again, right? And I don't want to say what exactly she said in detail because, I don't want to be too specific just in case, she watches the video or whatever. I don't want to, air anyone out or make anyone feel bad because I do forgive her for this, but I never forgot it. She mentioned something that had to do with me. She didn't say my name or anything, so it wasn't directed at me, but it was something that she knew about me, that I feel like she would have obviously known. If I saw the post, I would have felt a little bit like attacked, a little bit like, wow, like you're clearly talking about me. And it was like people that do this are insecure, disrespect God, she just went on a rant about a quality that I have, right? So me thinking like, okay, wow, I know a lot about this girl. Okay, I know a lot about her imperfections and things that she does in her life that is less than righteous. But I'm not online saying girls that do this are insecure and have a low self-esteem and disrespect God and, like go in on something that I know about her. So in my mind, it was so confusing because I'm like, everything she posts, I support her. I'm under her comments, motivating her and bigging her up all the time. I'm reposting her on my story all the time. I'm promoting her all the time. I'm like literally her number one fan. And the fact that she would post this online, knowing that I would see it and possibly feel attacked, it just goes to show that she absolutely did not care how I would feel, and she did not care what I would think. I could say so much about the things that I know about her. But because I know that if I said something, it would hurt her feelings. It would make her feel some type of way, or it'll affect her self-esteem. Why would I say it if that's my friend? For example, that's like having a best friend that had an abortion, for example, right? And the very next week, you go on Instagram and say girls that get abortions are going to hell. It's like that. And it's like, why you would never do that because you know that relates to your friend. And if she saw that, she could possibly be offended. So you wouldn't say anything. It doesn't matter how you feel about abortions. It's the fact that you don't want to hurt someone's feeling who you claim to love. So the fact that she was bold enough to go online and do that, it showed me that, you know what? I'm not going to take this personal, even though I am taking it personal, but I'm just going to keep reminding myself that it's not about me. It's not about me. It was never about me. She is unhappy. She is insecure. She is emotionally unstable right now. And because I understand that hurt people, I was just in the way. I was just in the way. Now, am I going to hold her comment against her forever? No. Because I understand that no one's perfect and people slip up sometimes and people may project their unhappiness onto others. Sometimes it happens. But do I understand now that I have to be very cautious about being around her, what I say to her, what she knows about me, and how much energy I exchange with her? Yes, of course, because I'm no fool. I would have never done that to her. And I don't have friends. I'm not accepting friends that feel like they can do that to me. So, no, I'm not mad at her, but I'm setting up boundaries for myself because I love myself. And I have respect for myself. And I did not sign up to be anyone's emotional punching bag. I did not sign up to be someone's friend and then be completely discarded at their will whenever they're going through it emotionally or mentally. I didn't sign up for that. So once again, I'm reminding you guys just to be wary of people who love to indulge in self-pity, because hurt people hurt people. Their intention is not to hurt others, right? But because they're in that low vibrational, negative, pessimistic mindset, they haven't learned from their past and they're still pointing the finger, still blaming others, still trying to put others down just to feel validated. You will be in the way of that. You may not be their target, but you might get hit regardless. All right. So let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If anyone can relate to this, and let's have a discussion. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video and being subscribed to my channel. If you know anyone that needs to hear this message, please share this video. And always remember, grow in peace. And success is a journey, not a destination.